The void of space stretched endlessly, black and cold, broken only by the pale glimmer of distant stars.
Captain Elira Voss leaned forward in her chair on the bridge of the Voran cruiser Talanis, her hands gripping the edges of the console.
The sensors had picked up something unusual, a silent object drifting in a quiet sector near the Orion expanse. Nothing like it had ever appeared on their maps. The readings were strange. The size of the object was massive, far larger than any cargo vessel or scout ship. It moved slowly, almost lazily, yet it seemed aware of the surrounding space, shifting slightly as if it were listening. "Science officer, confirm the coordinates," Elira said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her curiosity. Rin Tal, a young officer with sharp eyes and a quick mind, glanced at the readings. "Coordinates confirmed, Captain. The object is drifting at sublight speed. No propulsion signature detected. No life signs either. It appears abandoned." Elira studied the data. "It is too big to be abandoned. We should scan it fully. Prepare the spectral array." Rin hesitated for a moment. "Captain, I must warn you. There is something strange about the energy readings. I have never seen a vessel like this. It is almost layered in ways I cannot fully explain. Sensors may not give a complete picture." Elira nodded. "Do it anyway. We cannot let unknown objects drift in our sector without knowing what they are." The crew moved with quiet efficiency. Lights flickered as consoles hummed to life. The spectral scanners engaged, sending pulses of energy toward the massive object. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the first shockwave hit. "Shields! Shields now!" Rin shouted as sparks flew across the bridge. The console displays blinked and froze. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. Elira's stomach dropped. "What is happening?" Rin stared at the readings. "The vessel, it is reacting. Our scanners cannot process the data. It is too complex. It is alive in some way, but not life as we know it." The crew watched in awe as their instruments struggled to understand the ship. Layers appeared and disappeared in the readings, folding in ways that broke all known physics. For a brief second, a strange shape formed in the view screen. It looked like a battleship, but larger, with impossible geometry. Lines of light moved along its surface, almost like it was aware of the scan. Then came a sound over the comms that froze every heart. It was a voice, calm and clear, cutting through the alarm tones and static. "Unauthorized scan detected. Identify yourself." Elira's jaw tightened. She had never heard a human voice in space before. It was strange, familiar, yet completely unexpected. Her fingers trembled slightly as she pressed the comm button. "This is Captain Elira Voss of the Voran cruiser Talanis. We mean no harm. We were scanning an unknown vessel drifting in this sector." There was a pause, as if the voice was measuring her words. Then it spoke again, calm but firm. "You have already committed an offense by scanning without permission. Stand down or face consequences," Rin Tal whispered, his eyes wide. It is human, a real human voice. But that should be impossible. Humanity is extinct. They have been extinct for centuries." Elira shook her head. "Impossible or not, it is here and it is alive. Prepare for communication. Keep sensors on full. Do not act aggressive unless they force us." Back on the human ship, the USS Ardent, Captain Laura King was waking from cryosleep. She sat up slowly in the captain's chair, her eyes scanning the dimly lit bridge. Her crew was stirring in their own pods. A low hum ran through the ship and the AI Athena spoke. "Captain, foreign scan detected. Defensive protocols active. The object is sending energy waves that interfere with sensors. They are attempting to probe the ship." Laura frowned. "Assess the threat. The scanning vessel is smaller, less advanced, but they are using energy pulses that risk destabilizing our shield matrix. They are trying to see inside us." Laura rubbed her temples. "We are not here to attack. We are here to observe. But we cannot allow unauthorized scans. Notify them. Identify ourselves. Make it clear that interference will not be tolerated." Athena's voice remained calm. "Acknowledged. Message will be transmitted." Back on the Talanis, the crew watched in disbelief as the display shimmered and shifted. The human ship, though distant, seemed to bend light around itself. Attempts to scan it only revealed strange patterns of energy that could not be explained. Red alarms kept blinking, warning of system overload. Captain Voss took a deep breath. "This is Captain Elira Voss. We request identification. We are explorers and mean no harm." For a moment, silence. Then the calm voice returned. "You should not have scanned us. Your intentions are irrelevant. Stand down and withdraw." or you will face consequences beyond your understanding." Rintal shook his head, unable to speak for a moment. "Captain, they are telling the truth. This ship, it is not like anything in the records. It is a battleship. A human battleship. That should be impossible. Humans do not have these ships anymore." Illyra felt a chill run down her spine. Her hand hovered over the console controls. "I want a full report of their energy output. Analyze everything we can. I need to know what we are dealing with." Rin ran through the data. "Their systems are unmatched. Even our best long-range sensors cannot map the internal structure. It is impossible. The ship appears to exist in more than one place at once. The hull is larger than any battleship we have cataloged. And there is something else. The readings suggest weapons, but not like ours. They are different." Illyra's eyes narrowed. "Different how?" "They are more powerful. They bend space. They can disrupt our energy fields with just a scan. It is not conventional weapons. If they wanted, they could destroy us before we even fired a shot." Illyra swallowed hard. "Then we need to be careful. Do not provoke them. Prepare to withdraw, but keep sensors on. I want to know everything about this vessel." The crew followed her orders, but tension filled the bridge. No one spoke, only watching the displays as the human ship hovered silently. Then unexpectedly, the ship moved. It did not move like any vessel the Vorans knew. It bent light, then appeared closer in a blink. The sensors screamed. The consoles overloaded and crew members stumbled, startled by the sudden movement. Illyra gripped her chair. What just happened? Rin's eyes were wide. They moved faster than sublight, faster than anything we know. It is impossible. Captain, they are not just powerful, they are beyond our comprehension. On the human ship, Laura King observed the Talanis through visual feeds. She studied the crew carefully. None of them intended harm yet, but curiosity and fear were written across their faces. She spoke calmly into the comms. "Why did you scan us?" Illyra's voice was almost trembling. "We thought you were abandoned. We meant no harm. We were exploring. Please do not attack us." Laura's voice was steady, almost gentle. "You have been warned. Mistakes in space are dangerous. Be careful." The Vorans hesitated. They had studied human history for centuries. They had heard legends of wars, fleets, and weapons that could annihilate entire planets. Humans had been gone for 3,000 years, vanishing after a series of conflicts known as the Terran Expansion Wars. No one knew what had happened. Many believed humans extinct, primitive or extinct by their own technology. But now the legend was real, and it was alive. The Talanis crew scrambled to recalibrate systems. Shields were reinforced, engines checked, and tactical arrays powered up. Every officer on the bridge knew they had narrowly avoided disaster. One wrong move could ignite a war they were not prepared for. Illyra leaned back and let out a long breath. "Prepare for withdrawal," she ordered. "We scan no further. Do not provoke them. Keep a visual lock and report everything back to command." Rin nodded, still staring at the readings. "Captain, this ship, if this is one, then how many more? And how many of them survived?" Illyra did not answer immediately. She stared at the silent human battleship, hovering in space like a predator that did not need to move to strike. She thought of all the old records, warnings, and stories. All of them suddenly seemed true. The Talanis began a slow retreat. Every crew member moved carefully, conscious that even a minor mistake could trigger the human's wrath. And though the ship remained silent, its presence alone was enough to send a clear message. Humanity was not extinct. Humanity was waiting, and the Vorans had just made their first mistake in centuries. As the distance grew, Rintal whispered, almost to himself, "Captain, they scanned a human battleship, and we survived only because they allowed it." Illyra did not answer. She knew that survival had nothing to do with luck. It had to do with restraint, caution, and the fragile mercy of a species that had been underestimated for centuries. Across the void, the human battleship remained still, silent but vigilant. Inside, Captain Laura King sat in her chair, calm and watchful. Her crew was at stations, the AI monitoring every move of the retreating vessel. Humanity had been asleep for 3,000 years. But the galaxy would soon remember why humans were never to be trifled with. And in that moment, a simple truth hung in the darkness. Curiosity had led the Vorans to the wrong ship. They had scanned a human battleship and immediately regretted it. The Talanis drifted slowly away from the human battleship. The crew on the bridge remained tense, their eyes glued to the displays. Every second felt heavy, as if time itself had slowed. The strange vessel ahead had not fired a weapon. It had not given a single sign of aggression beyond its warning. And yet, the entire crew of the Voron cruiser felt the weight of a power they did not understand. Captain Elira Voss did not speak for several moments. She simply watched the human ship move subtly, almost as if it were adjusting its position to follow their retreat. It did not need to follow them, she knew. It could reach them in moments if it chose. Her mind raced. How had humanity survived for 3,000 years? Why had they not been seen before? And why had no other species encountered them? Rintal finally spoke. Captain, the scans we attempted, they barely registered anything. The ship is different. Its energy is not normal. Even the weapon signatures are unusual. They do not match anything in the archives. Elira nodded slowly. Then we do not know what we are dealing with. That alone makes them dangerous. Keep the sensors focused, Rin. Do not let them out of your sight. We may need to understand their capabilities before they take offense. The bridge fell silent, except for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Officers exchanged nervous glances. Some had studied the ancient Terran wars in history schools, but those were stories of the past. The humans had been described as unpredictable, unstoppable, and violent. Yet the Talanis crew had never expected to see one alive, let alone in perfect working condition. Back on the USS Ardent, Captain Laura King watched the retreating cruiser carefully. Her AI, Athena, provided updates on the ship's energy usage and trajectory. They are attempting to retreat. Their engines are functioning at limited capacity. They are cautious but still moving away from us. Laura nodded. Good. Let them think they have control. Observation continues. No engagement unless necessary. We have been asleep for centuries. It is time to assess the galaxy quietly before we act. Lieutenant Evan Brooks, the Ardent's second-in-command, frowned. Captain, they are primitive, but their curiosity is dangerous. One mistake could trigger panic. Do we alert them about other human ships or keep them in the dark? Laura considered this carefully. We observe. We do not provoke. Let them understand on their own. If they are smart, they will survive. If not, we do not need to risk unnecessary conflict. Prepare long-range scans. Identify any other fleets or activity in this sector. Athena responded in her calm voice. Long-range scans are active. No other advanced vessels detected within 1,000 light-years. It is clear. The sector is empty except for minor patrols. Meanwhile, on the Talanis, Captain Voss attempted to calm her officers. Report any unusual activity. I want full situational awareness. This ship is unlike anything we have ever faced. It is best to understand as much as possible before we return to base. Rintal worked furiously at the console, still shaken by the previous events. Captain, even at this distance, the human ship's residual energy is affecting our systems. Our shields are stable, but our sensors are struggling to maintain a coherent readout. Their energy projection is extraordinary. Elira's brow furrowed. Extraordinary how? They are using something beyond our science. It is not subspace, not quantum, not conventional energy. It is layered, almost like it exists partially outside our reality. Our scans cannot fully penetrate it, and their defensive systems, they are aware of our scans before we complete them. Elira exhaled slowly. Then we must assume intelligence at a level far beyond our own. This is not a mere ship. This is a weapon, yes, but more importantly, it is a sentinel, and we are the intruders. The crew fell silent again. The weight of her words settled over them. The Talanis had been trained for exploration, patrol, and minor combat. Nothing in their history prepared them for a direct encounter with a human battleship. At Outpost Kelran, several systems received partial reports of the encounter. Admiral Darek Tal studied the incoming transmissions with a growing sense of disbelief. Captain Voss, your sensors, are they accurate? They are accurate, Admiral, Voss replied. We scanned the vessel and it responded instantly. The energy output is far beyond any known civilization. Their ship is human, alive, active, and capable of defending itself in ways we cannot predict. Admiral Thal leaned back, grimacing. Humans, extinct for 3,000 years, now appearing in our sector? This cannot be. Our history records show no survivors beyond scattered colonies. What did you see, Voss? They are alive, sir. Their hull is massive, energy systems unmatched. We could not penetrate their shields. They reacted the instant we attempted to scan them. I would say they are far more advanced than any of our fleets, far more advanced than we imagined. The Admiral's hand shook slightly. Get them back to the fleet. We must know more, and tell your crew to remain calm. The galaxy cannot afford another human war, even by accident. Back on the Ardent, Laura reviewed the Voran fleet's attempts to send signals. Each transmission was intercepted and logged. They are cautious, they are curious, they did not attack, that is good. Brooks frowned. Captain, I suggest we monitor their internal communications. If they coordinate a fleet, we must know immediately. We cannot have an unnecessary conflict on our hands. Laura nodded. Agreed. Athena, monitor all subspace channels. Track any fleet movements, patrols, or suspicious signals. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary. Athena's voice remained calm and precise. Acknowledged. All channels are under surveillance. In the following hours, the Talanis moved slowly toward safer space, but the crew could not shake the feeling that the human ship was following them. Every attempt to fully scan the Ardent failed. Energy readings flickered and disappeared. Every measurement they attempted to make was twisted and bent, as if the ship itself was aware of their attempts. Rintal whispered to himself, "They are reading us. They know what we are doing before we do it." Illyra heard him and nodded quietly. "Yes, Rin. And that is why we survived. They have the power to destroy us in an instant, yet they did not. That was deliberate." Hours later, when the Talanis was clear of the immediate area, Illyra allowed herself to lean back in her chair. Her mind raced with questions and fears. How many human ships were left in the galaxy? Why had they remained hidden for so long? And what would happen if other civilizations realized they were alive? Meanwhile, Laura King studied the Voran cruiser. "They are retreating, but we must not assume they will not return," she said. Brooks shook his head. "Captain, they will tell others what they saw. Entire fleets will come to investigate. We cannot remain in this sector and remain secret." Laura nodded. "Then we move. Set course to the outer rim of the former Terran colonies. There we can assess the situation and awaken other ships if necessary. We will not strike first. We will not provoke, but we will be ready." Athena's calm voice added, "Course plotted. Estimated travel time to outer colonies, 34 hours at current warp parameters. Long-range scans indicate no other advanced civilizations in immediate proximity. Risk of detection low, but probable if the Voran fleet reports encounter." Laura looked out into the blackness of space. The stars seemed cold and distant, yet full of stories untold. Humanity had slept for centuries, observing the galaxy quietly. Now, awake, they had to decide how to reveal their presence. In the Voran sector, Admiral Thal convened an emergency meeting. "We must prepare for the possibility that humanity has returned in force," he said. "Reports indicate their technology exceeds anything we have seen. Our intelligence cannot confirm their numbers, their power, or their intentions." Other officers murmured nervously. "What if they are hostile?" one asked. Thal shook his head. "We do not know, but we cannot ignore them. Every report indicates restraint on their part, yet absolute awareness. They do not attack, yet they control the situation completely. That is dangerous. That is human." Captain Voss returned to her quarters exhausted. She sat down and reflected on the day's events. She thought of the calm human voice, the massive energy output, the sheer presence of the ship. For centuries, humans had been written off as extinct, primitive, or unimportant, and now, one ship had proven all of that wrong. She thought of her crew, They had seen the impossible. They had survived only because the humans chose to let them live. The weight of responsibility fell on her. She knew that the first mistaken judgment could lead to war. A war they could not hope to win. In another part of the galaxy, the USS Ardent drifted silently. Its engines were ready, its weapons systems dormant, but primed. Its AI monitored every communication, every movement of the Voran fleet. Laura King sat in her captain's chair, calm and measured. Humanity had slept for centuries, but it had not forgotten. It had not lost its strength. She looked at Brooks. Prepare the ship for extended travel. We move to the outer colonies. We must awaken what remains of our fleet. The galaxy does not know what it has lost. It is time we remind them. Brooks nodded. Understood, Captain. Estimated readiness? 2 hours. Systems nominal. Laura allowed herself a small, calm smile. Good. Let them think they saw only one ship. Let them wonder what else is out there. That is enough for now. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The human ship moved silently, a shadow across the galaxy,